Happy Friday to everyone watching. We got the latest Browns news and rumors coming your way on today's Cleveland Browns Report. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. Some interesting things came out across the Twitter.com world. Dearness Johnson looks like he may be staying in Cleveland, and some trade rumors surrounding Fletcher Cox. That's the first story we'll touch on in today's show, and then we'll get into the Dearness Johnson news. But first thing first. So the Browns trade for Fletcher Cox, the star defensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, trade rumors surrounding Fletcher Cox have been, coming around for a little bit now, going into last season, right before the NFL trade deadline. There was talks of the Eagles potentially moving their star DT, opted to keep him in. Ended up going on to a postseason run, so probably a good move. But Ian Rapoport, he tweeted this out early this morning saying, with all these big names being dealt, who could be next? Last year, Eagles Pro Bowl defensive tackle Fletcher Cox was nearly dealt on the trade deadline, and teams around the league have continued to call on him. Considering the D-line movement around the league, it's something to watch. Well, he's absolutely right about all the big names being moved. We had Russell Wilson go to Denver on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it was the Commanders taking on Carson Wentz. Thursday, Khalil Mack goes to the Chargers. And Friday, haven't seen a trade yet. Maybe by the time you're watching this, there was a trade happen. But Fletcher Cox, he's the story of today's show involving trade rumors. So let's explore this idea right now. He did miss the Pro Bowl, which I think is a bit of a popularity contest. But I think it is worth mentioning that he did have a bit of a down season in 2021. First time he's missed it since 2014. So a long run in there, mixed in with some All-Pro appearances as well. If a trade were to happen, I think it would have to happen after June 1st. If you're unfamiliar with how NFL contracts work, don't worry. It is kind of confusing. Even I myself kind of get confused and, twisted around once in a while. But June 1st is like the line in the sand where if the team moves on from him after that, they usually save more money, but they can't use that money in free agency because all the big names have already been signed. Now, Cox for 2022 does carry a bit of a nice, healthy cap hit. Just under $15 million. So if the Eagles keep him on, they're going to be paying him a good chunk of change. So whatever team were to trade for him, they'd also be taking on a good chunk of change as well. With that in mind, do you think the Browns should go out and trade for Fletcher Cox? Time to be Andrew Berry. I saw some ridiculous tweets yesterday of, Chargers traded for Khalil Mack. Why isn't Andrew Berry? Come on. Not every team can trade for Khalil Mack, and not every team can make blockbuster trades. You got to feel your place, and, it's like Ricky Bobby. Slingshot, engage. You'll know when it's time for your team to make a big move. If a trade does happen, I think it has to be after June 1st. If the Eagles were to trade him before June 1st, financially it'd make no sense. They'd have a negative $25 million dead cap hit or cap savings. It's very confusing. The cap's not real, but it kind of is real when you need it to be real. But here's how the finances work out. After June 1st, the Eagles cap has a $2.1 million cap savings. 2022, 12.8 dead cap, which means whether he's on their roster or not, they've got that much money devoted to the salary cap because of the contract they gave him. And a huge dead cap of $28.1 million in 2023. Now, that number may seem so large that why would they ever do that? The Eagles just did that for Carson Wentz. Remember when they traded him to the Colts? They set an NFL record for a dead cap hit of the next year, that year. $35 million, if memory serves me correctly. Maybe up to $40 million. It was a gargantuan number. So the Eagles are not afraid of taking on some dead cap and paying players a lot of money not to be on their team. Fletcher Cox lately, he's still motoring at a very high and productive level, but he is getting down towards the end of his career. He had a down year this past season. 3.5 sacks compared to 6.5 the year before. 3.5 for the same in 2019, but 10.5 in 2018. He's just, 35 tackles compared to being in the 40s club the season before. So I think Fletcher Cox does have some productivity still left in him, but you're not getting the old Fletcher Cox. Let's say you are gung-ho on trading for Fletcher Cox. I think this is a rough idea of what it could look like. The Browns get Fletcher Cox and a 7th-round pick to try and kind of compensate for the cap hit they're going to take on by taking his monstrous 6-year deal off of Philadelphia's books. And in exchange, the Eagles get a 4th and a 5th. I've kind of looked at some other mock trades for Fletcher Cox, and that's roughly what he's going for. I wouldn't give up a 3rd-rounder. I mean, no way 1st or 2nd. That's kind of out of the realm of possibility. I would not go lower than a 4th. But would you do this trade? Now it's time for you guys to play Madden. Hit A for accept or D for decline. Sound off in the comment section below. Personally, I would rather keep the draft picks. I think Fletcher Cox has played his best football. I think the Browns are more than just Fletcher Cox away from winning playoff games again, right? If the move is to make the playoffs and win the playoffs, I don't think Fletcher Cox is the last piece of the puzzle. That 4th and 5th round pick, will it be as productive in 2022? Probably not, but it could be in 2023 and 2024 and on a much cheaper deal. Now, before we get to the rest of today's show, I'm going to ask you guys to do something I've never asked before. I want you to go ahead and share this video on Facebook or even on Twitter or wherever else you love to share your stuff. Hit that share button, go to Facebook, spread this news out to other Browns, other Brown lovers, people in the dog pound that love the Cleveland Browns, that follow you on Facebook, your friends, your family. I want to get 5 shares because my boss said, hey, Matthew, we need 5 shares, and I want to, walk in tomorrow and be like, check mark, thanks to the dog pound because of that guy. So go ahead and share this video. Also, make sure you subscribe for the latest Browns news and rumors surrounding free agency. As I film this right now, it is Friday. Free agency unofficially begins on Monday and officially on Wednesday. And every time the Browns make a signing, we're going to have a video. So make sure you turn your notifications on. Stay in the loop on the latest Browns free agent news. Next up. Is Dearness Johnson staying? We talked about this right off the top of the show. Well, the Browns are doing their part to keep him in Cleveland. So Dearness Johnson is a restricted free agent, which is a little different than an unrestricted free agent. Restricted free agent means the Browns have an opportunity to match whatever offer comes in. And the Browns tendered him, which just sounds kind of weird in my opinion. This is a fancy lingo of the NFL. The first right of refusal of $2.43 million. So other teams can match that offer, and the Browns can hold on to him. Or if other teams offer more than that, the Browns can match that offer and keep him in Cleveland. This is clearly a sign that the Browns want to keep the same three-headed monster back they had last year between Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, and Dearness Johnson. So I think Cleveland is doing everything they can to try and keep him in Cleveland. I think the Browns are trying to do everything they can to keep him in Cleveland without breaking the bank for a third-string running back. We'll explore this more in just a second, but follow us at this awesome up-and-coming video platform service called Rumble.com. Go to rumble.com/Browns Report. You get free and uncensored content. They've got sports, news, politics, tech, business. They hit on everything there. And most importantly, if you want to support what we do, and if you want to find more ways to subscribe, because you can only subscribe once to the Cleveland Browns Report, well, there's another way to do it. So give us a follow at rumble.com/Browns Report. Getting back to DJ Dearness Johnson, he had a great season. This is not the numbers you'd expect to see for a third-string running back. When he was called on, he shined. Remember the Thursday night game against the Broncos where he went off for over 100 yards, had a touchdown, could have had 2, but made the heads-up play and went down at the goal line to run the clock out. I loved what I saw of Dearness Johnson, and it was great to see that because of a feel-good story. He was in Miami, working on boats, catching mahi and tuna, and now he's in the NFL. He was in that crappy AAFL, American Allegiance Football League, whatever it's called. I don't remember. The Apollos, I think. He was down there. He was basically out of his football career, gets an opportunity with the Browns, and he makes the most of it. Kevin Stefanski had a great quote about Dearness Johnson I want to share with you guys. Dearness Johnson, to me, is a warrior and a great teammate. What he has fought through in his career, and then to go have a night like that and to just end it how he did on this down, I thought it was just outstanding. This is after the Browns win over the Broncos on Thursday Night Football where Dearness Johnson was the bell cow back. So it's great to see this because at the end of the day, he's going to get nearly $2.5 million, which in NFL's terms of things is not a lot of money. But if you would offer me $2.5 million right now, I'm going to give you guys a secret right now. I don't make $2.5 million at my job. And a good chance you don't either. No offense. But this is not the NFL, right? So for anyone to make $2.5 million is great. And if someone wants to offer him $5 million, like the Miami Dolphins, for example, who need a running back, and he goes there, I'll be happy for him. I'll be very excited that he's going to make $5 million because even if it doesn't work out after that, that is life-changing kind of money. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Cleveland Browns Report. We'll keep you guys up to date with the latest Browns free agency news and rumors. But until then, go Browns.